Well, hello there. So, it's time for a TBR game, but we're not doing the usual TBR. If you recall, in my Easter egg hunt video, one of the challenges was to do a TBR scavenger hunt, and I forgot. I completely forgot about it. I have been so busy the last few months that there are many things in that video that I'm like completely blitzed about. I now have of course, a spreadsheet for all those challenges and things. But yeah, I also haven't pre-ordered like anything. I think 2 of the books on that list I've actually ordered. I have not done any of those. It's been a wild time right now. So we're going to do the bookish scavenger hunt. Now, this is usually a hunt where you don't pick your book until like the very last question. We're not going to do that. So we're going to take the first one because the first question is always like from a book I've already read. And then we're going to use each question as another book that I'm going to find. So that's how we're going to build our scavenger hunt today. Now, I do believe there are 9 questions in this rather than my usual 8. So I reserve the right to remove one at the end just because I'm so freaking busy. But I will also attempt to give you guys all the HRCYED prompts for HRCYED 3.0 that any of these books could qualify for. But before we get into that, we got to talk about how I did with my June TBR. Here is the June TBR, and it is complete. So from worst book, sorry, I have to keep stepping up because there's actually a little like cushion bed here. I put these in order of my least favorite to the best book that I read of the TBR. I've read a lot of other books in June as well. This is just of the TBR. But this book definitely is the worst book I've read all month, and that is Vampires, Hearts, and Others Dead Things by Margie Fuston, or Fuston. I don't know how to say the name. I'm so mad at this book. I am mostly mad at the main character of this book because she is so selfish and entitled, and I feel like doesn't ever learn her lesson, and it makes me so I almost DNF'd. There was one point in this book where it's pretty early on in the book and stuff, and you think she'd have some kind of morals and value, the life of her supposed like best friend over an envelope with a clue in it. But no, she does not. And I almost threw the book at that point. I almost was like, I can't do this. I can't support this character. And I find throughout the entire book, no, I hate her. I think she's a terrible, terrible character. I don't care what she's going through. So many others have gone through this kind of stuff, and none of them would sacrifice their best friend for an envelope. What? And her reasoning being like, well, I didn't think they'd actually hurt you or anything. No, you didn't know that. You're dealing with people who say that they're vampires. You don't know that. And also just like for a vampire book, it's not really a vampire book, I will say. I do think marketing is really weird on this one because it's about her dad who's dying of cancer, and her whole plan is because she and her dad are obsessed with vampires to an unhealthy level. Or she's going to New Orleans to find the real vampires. And like everyone still thinks that they're all fake, even though there was like this weird thing that happened in the past where they were like, vampires are real. Anyway, the world building is weird. But yeah, I like, you could tell where the twist was going, and then it pulls out this weird twist at the end that I'm like, that's just dumb kind of thing. And then it just wraps up really quickly in a really bad way. And I think this was just bad. This was bad. It was bad. And it made me so angry. And I hate the main character. Moving on. Dead India. I was enjoying this. Major gap between this book and that book, by the way. The only problem with this, big spoilers, because the spoiler is the reason I am mad at this book. This is a graphic novel, also has an anime, I guess, or an animation, and on Netflix it says inspiration for the Netflix series Dead End Paranormal Park. But for those who are triggered by animal death, there you go. Don't read it. It upset me quite a bit. I did think in general, like, the storytelling was all over the place. It's a problem I usually have with graphic novels. I just feel like things are too fast-paced and not making too much sense for me. But that's a me problem, not necessarily the fault of the book. But the fault of the book is definitely the animal death. So anyway, next up is The Taming of the Clueless. This was very, very fun. This is Clueless, the entirety of it, written as if Shakespeare had done it. And what I really like in the addition of this, aside from just it being them talking like they're in a Shakespearean play, is we have some added characters. We have a bard who's basically the soundtrack. So if you've ever wanted to know what the impression that I get by Mighty Body Bosstown sounds like if it was written for a Shakespearean play, here you go. That I found really, really, really funny. Every 2 seconds, you know, you'll see the soundtrack, whatever was playing in the movie is now transcribed as a Shakespearean play. So these are very, very, very fun. I had a great time with that. Next up is Swords Point by Ellen Kushner. I really had no idea what I was getting into with this book because there's really not a synopsis. And even online, I could not find a synopsis at all. Ma'am, do you need to come out? Hold on, someone wants to join us. Sniffly joining us today. So anyway, Swords Point. I also did not realize gay. This book is gay. Yay! That was surprising, but it is about a swordsman who was like a hired swordsman and gets into all kinds of trouble with unaliving people who hurt his guy. And a lot of other convoluted plots going on. So I wasn't totally engrossed in this. It took me a while to really get into it. So I probably wasn't into this book until like maybe the 60% mark, which is not great, but it's also kind of a classic. It was actually written in my birth year. And I have a problem just reading older fiction. I don't know what it is, but like, it's not like the language doesn't make sense, but the language bores me. So I don't know what it is. It's also why I just don't really like reading classics, because I am bored by the language in them. It's not that I don't understand what it's saying. I'm just like, okay, that's one way to say that, you know. Next up is an indie book. This is Lucas by MJ James. This is a fun interpretation for vampire and getting turned into a vampire. We have a 40-year-old. That was my only problem, is I don't believe this man is 40 in this book. And he's also trans, and unfortunately gets bitten by a vampire and turned into a vampire mid-transition. And that is part of a big theme for this, is struggling with the identity of that and learning a bit more of lore. I do wish this wasn't so short, because I think a lot of stuff could be expanded in this series. Now, there are 3 other books in this novella series that I definitely plan on reading, because we have introduced some very interesting characters and some lore that I wish there was a little bit more expanded on. I do think the romance was a little fast for what I personally like to see, but also in the queer community, like I can see how that would make sense for some. But yeah, I still really enjoyed this one. I have another book by MJ James that I need to read, and I'm looking forward to that. All right, next up, we then have Third Shift Society by Meredith Moriarty. This is volume 2, and I really love this series. I don't know when the 3rd volume of this is coming out. I know it's all on Webtoon, but I like having the bound copies of it, and I'm thoroughly enjoying. We had a lot of backstory revealed in this one. We had a lot more growth, a lot more investigations, a lot more plot building in this, and character development. So I'm really, really enjoying this series overall. So it stands at number 3. Number 2 is a book I don't physically own, and that is Marriage and Masti. I think, right? That's the 3rd book. And that is the 3rd book in the If Shakespeare Were an Auntie book, which is very loose 12th Night. But I love the second chance, not even second chance romance, but it's like we were on a path somewhere and things got shut off, and so they don't talk to each other for like almost a year, not realizing how much one was in love with the other, kind of thing, and rekindling over a fake marriage that's kind of actually a real marriage based on certain traditions and things. So yeah, I really liked the storytelling in this. I do think these books are like smuttier in a different kind of way that I'm not used to. And I'm like, okay, I'm uncomfortable. A lot of the men seem to be into a certain form of intimacy. I'll leave it at that. But I still overall enjoy the story. I think this trilogy is very interesting. Really look into like Desi culture and stuff, and a variety of Indian cultures, actually, because I believe our main guy in this, or in the second one, he's Punjabi. So there's a variety of subculture diaspora that is explored in this series that I really appreciated. And finally, the best book of that TBR that I read was surprisingly The Serpent in the Wings of Night, the Thirsty vlog book, where I usually rate these books and tell you how much I hate them because they're so much smut and no plot. That is not the case with this. I was incredibly surprised. Take freaking notes. This is how I want romantasy done, okay? Even with the spicy scene that's in here, the buildup, the conflict of characters and our own like goals and things, very realistically done. The politics, the action of it all, the relationship building from being like, I don't like you, to reluctant allies, and still a lot of like, I could still kill you right now kind of things, to like actually forming a friendship overall, and then leading into something more romantic, but then having all these convoluted things happening that put you back on kind of opposite sides of things and not fully necessarily trusting each other again, but then also still trusting each other with certain things. And then just all this stuff happening. Like, this was good. This was, and I feel like it's kind of mean to be like, it's good. Like, no, this was really, really good. I went in thinking this would just be another, standard romantasy where the characters are just too obsessed with how each other looks and how hot the other one is, that I find in so many romantasies, without actually developing the emotional bond between them, without developing the plot and the strife between them, or in their own inner turmoil and stuff. That's normally what I've been finding in romantasy these days. So this was like a breath of fresh air. So I'm very excited to read the sequel for this. So there we go. Ma'am, you need to calm down. You've gotten such zoomies. She literally just zoomed across this whole room. Like, I couldn't find her for a hot second. And there's a sleeping Lucy right there who suddenly got very interested in her the other day, but is dead asleep still. Let's get into the TBR scavenger hunt, shall we? The very first question is to find a favorite read, go to the acknowledgements, and the very first name I see is going to pick the book, the next book that I'm going to do on the TBR for this game. So I have chosen randomly off of my shelf A Forgery of Fate by Elizabeth Lim. Elizabeth Lim is probably one of my favorite, if not favorite, authors out there. I have read literally everything by her. So let's go to your acknowledgements. The first name I see is Lily. I see to Lily, Josh, and Cynthia, her publicists. That's the first ones that I see with my eyeballs. Lily. Okay, 1 minute to find a Lily book. Is that book by Lily? I just got this one. Is that a Lily book? It is a Lily book. I literally just got this book. This is The Book of G by Lily Archer. Granted, it's spelled differently. That was L-I-L-I, and this is L-I-L-Y. I'm going to count it, though, so I don't think I have an L-I-L-I book. This is a Gaston retelling of him, like, waking up after the fall in Beauty and the Beast. So I'm intrigued. This is an indie book as well, self-published, Book of G. It's kind of chunky, though. I'm a little nervous. How many pages are you? 501 pages. 501. Yeah, we have a rose. Rose on the cover for those who need it for your birthday. Anyway, here is what it actually is about. A classic villain tells his own story. Remix, anybody? Full. I gotta do this in my Gaston voice. That's true, LeFou. She's the lucky one. I have a glorious past full of achievement and renown. I mean, I feel like I must, right? The problem is, I can't remember it. I can't even remember my own name. I was found in a river, body mangled and face scarred with nothing to identify me besides a single embroidered letter. My memory is a murky blur, but I have a quest, one that will give me back everything I've lost. The voice in the water told me so, but the voice seemed to miss a few important highlights, namely, the woman who challenges me at every twist and turn of my journey, the woman who tells me I'm a villain, the woman who never misses an opportunity to throw an insult my way, the woman who becomes every fervent whisper of my heart and every last thought in my head. If I can complete my quest and recover what I've lost, she'll see we're meant to be. But villains don't get happy endings, do they? Yay! I'm excited to read this, I will say. Very, very excited. Okay, what's the next question? It says to pick something on the cover that... Actually, there's other flowers on here, too, I just realized. I don't know what other flowers these are. That find it on another book on their cover or in their title. So we'll go with roses. Roses or just flowers in general, because I don't know if you can see if it's gonna focus enough for you to see. There's other different flowers. So maybe I'll just go with flowers on the cover, make it a little easy on myself. I realized I didn't put a timer on that last one, but I did find it within. So let's do 1 minute. Flowers on the cover. Flowers on the cover. Oh, boom. Easy. Thorn season. Done. And they might also be roses. Roses on the cover. We have Thorn Season by Kiera Azar. This is a nice fancy edition. What are we about? An heiress possessing illegal magic who has more to lose than just her secrets. A harsh and glittering royal court where the threat of discovery lurks around every corner. 2 beguiling and very dangerous men. It's like dash men who might be her salvation or her ruin. It's rose season at the palace, but survival will depend on becoming the most vicious of thorns. Okay, now I have heard good things about this book, but we will see. We shall endeavor to see. So we have to going to page 50, line 5, and a word in that line is what we need to find a word in the title for. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're from Vereen, he said. The province of craftspeople are. You an artist is the 6th line. So maybe your, or are, the, of. I'm going to have to choose those easy words because there's definitely not Vereen and province and craftspeople. Like, that's not going to be in any of my titles. So we'll do the, are, from, your. We'll see what we get. 1 minute.
I not owe you a hint to that one. Wow. Wow, I'm failing already. I can just do. Okay, we'll do that. Actually, you know what? Because of was one of the words, right? We said of? I gotta check myself again.
Yeah, of. Okay. We're going with of. So I can finish Emily Wilde's Compendium of Lost Tales. That's my of on that one. I'm not going to read you the synopsis since this is the 3rd book in the series and I don't want to spoil it for anybody. But if you haven't started this series, get on it. Oh, that's my that's my timer. Get on it. Get on reading this series if you haven't already because it's phenomenal. Okay, so I'm going to alter this one. It says to find a 5-star read with the same colors of the cover. We're just going to do the same colors. So this is actually really bad because we have this kind of like, it's not white. It's kind of off-white, green, and pink. This I might fail at and I'm forced to add. That's what I didn't actually explain it. If I fail in the minute, I'm going to add another book to the TBR with a different scavenger hunt.
Let's go. Are you? Kind of. You're a maybe. Oh, actually, on the base color, that's a potential. That is a potential. Are you the 3rd one? That's the 3rd one. Okay. Oh no, you're a 4th in the series. That's not going to work. Okay, they're so similar of covers.
We're going to do that. Okay. With 10 seconds to go. These books, like side by side, look very similar. If it'll focus on them at all. It's so bright, sorry. But like, yeah, those are very similar ones. So we have The Swan's Daughter by Roshni Chokshi. I also had this as an ARC and I need to read it. But I have the fancy one. But it's got the same like florals all around. This is a good example of covers that are very similar with a like floral motif, I would say, but they have like the red or the pink and the green florals overall with that kind of whitish, yellowish tone, if you can see enough. But I'm gonna count that. I'm counting that. So, wow, we are really romanced up. We are fantasy romances all around right now. So, The Swan's Daughter. Here's what this is. Also, daughter. Hello, daughter. Hello, daughter. Hello. And Swan. I feel like this one's a lot. Plus, you'll have the BIPOC author for gamification. So there you go. Prince Eris knows that marriage means murder. After a poorly worded wish generations ago, all one needs to rule the Isle of Malice are the heart and hand in marriage of the kingdom's heir, regardless of their survival afterwards. Eris's only chance at a long life is true love. When his parents announce a tournament of brides, a throng of beautiful bachelorettes arrives at the castle. But Eris cannot tell who is there out of love for him or lust for power. His only hope is Demelza, a Veritas swan who has fled to the castle for sanctuary. Demelza's song rings truth from lies, and so they strike a deal. Eris will hide her in exchange for her help to sort through his potential brides. But when love and truth become impossibly tangled, the two must decide what is more important, more survival or chasing a life worth living. Have you guys read the selection? This sounds an awful lot like the selection, but with more fantasy element. Let's take the Swan Princess probably and mix it with the selection. And here's what we've got. I hope this is good. It's Roshni Chokshi, so likely it will be good. I'm a fan of her writing overall. So this is going to kill me. We have to find a book with the same number of pages. How many pages are you? Hold on. Oh, okay, 386. We should be able to do that. 386, pretty common. If I can pull it without going to my spreadsheet and doing it for me, that's the real trick. 386, let's go.
What are you? No, you're not. No, you're not. Come on, give me page numbers. Jesus, give me page numbers. Oh, okay. 381. It's close. Oh, 386. 386. I can't believe I did that. Let me make sure I'm not lying to myself. No, that's the last page. Is 386. Right there. 386, and then it goes into like a little quote thing. Oh, no, I'm lying. It's an epilogue. There's an epilogue. Ah! Shoot. How about you? 400. No. Oh, God. Ah!
I failed. I failed that one. Okay, I'm going to use my spreadsheet and see who else is 386. Pull that book, and then we're going to add a book at the end. According to my spreadsheet, this book is 386 pages, and that is Midnight is the Darkest Hour by Ashley Winstead. I have not heard great things, but I was originally going to do this for the vampire reading 17 vampire books, and then I didn't. So we'll see. Here's what that's about. For fans of Verity and A Flicker in the Dark, which I'm a fan of neither, Midnight is the Darkest Hour is a twisted tale of murder, obsessive love, and the beastly urges that lie dormant within us all. Even the God-fearing folk of Bottom Springs, Louisiana, in her small hometown, librarian Ruth Cornier has always felt like an outsider, even as her beloved father rains fire and brimstone warnings from the pulpit at Holy Fire Baptist. Unfortunately for Ruth, the only things the townspeople fear more than God and the devil are the mists that haunt the area, like the story of the Low Man, a vampiric figure said to steal into sinners' bedrooms and kill them on moonless nights. When a skull is found deep in the swamp next to mysterious carved symbols, Bottom Springs is thrown into an uproar. And Ruth realizes only she and Everett, an old friend with a dark past, have the power to comb the town's secret underbelly in search of the true evil. Okay, we'll see. I am to flip open a page, and the first name I see, find an author with that name. Samuel? Sam? Oh, Sam. Do I have a Sam?
I don't know if I have a Sam. Sam. Everybody. Sam. Anybody named Sam? Who is named Sam? That's Sarah. No. Oh, wait. Where are you at? Yes. Haha. Are you the third book or the second book? That's book 3. Where's my second book? Where's my current series? I need to reorganize this sucker. But I found one. I just need its other copy because those are indies, and then I have my, here we go. So it's roughly here.
Haha! There we go. This one. Just in time. We have Broken Rain by Sam Liddell. This is the second book in the Odium trilogy, which is a queer fantasy. I like this. I liked the first one a lot, which is Daughter of No One. If you need one that's also self-published. There you go. I'm just helping you all out. Anyway, Broken Rain, we have a lovely seaside on the cover. Look at that biome right there, baby. I'm not going to read you the synopsis of this because it is a sequel, but highly recommend the first one. It's a great kind of, I don't want to say dark fantasy, but it has like some darker themes to it. So I thoroughly enjoyed the first one. Looking forward to the second one. Our next task is to find a title, another book with the same number of letters. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 letters. Let's rock and roll. 3, 2, 1, go.
1, 2, 3, 4. I'm just checking any of those that I threw on the ground. 11 letters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, no. 1, 2, 3, 4, no, let's get out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Oh my God, that's funny. We got Game Changer, folks. Game Changer. Here we go. And finally delving into the written version of our Heated Rivalry babies. No, this is the Scott and Kip story. So, which is honestly, in Heated Rivalry, I hated the first 2 episodes. It wasn't until we got Scott and Kip that I was like kind of on board with the rest of the show. And then it got better for me with Shane and Ilya. But I just hated like the first 2 episodes and not my thing. So for those who don't know what this hockey romance is, we have New York Admirals Captain Scott Hunter takes his pregame rituals very seriously. When a particular smoothie precedes Scott's breaking his on-ice slump, he's desperate to recreate the magic and to get to know the sexy, funny guy behind the counter. Kip Grady knew there was more to Scott's frequent visits than blended fruit, but he never let himself imagine being invited back to Scott's penthouse, or kissed with reckless abandon, and more. What goes on between them is hot, incredible, and frequent, but also only on Scott's terms and always behind his closed apartment doors. Scott needs Kip in his life, but with playoff season approaching, the spotlight on him is suddenly brighter than ever. He can't afford to do anything that might derail his career or the public's image of what a hockey captain should be. Kip is ready to go all in with Scott, but how much longer will he have to remain a secret? There you go. Okay, and I have been warned not to listen to the audiobook, so I will be physically reading this one. Okay. Well, now I have to find a book with a similar cover. Too bad I don't own Heated Rivalry, or else I'll just go right into it. But actually, I have an idea. I don't know how similar of a cover you want me to do, but we'll take some voting probably. I'll give myself a minute for it.
Because I have this. Let's see. Give me somebody. Give me an illustrated cover. An illustrated cover. I'm just going to fall. Where's my illustrated covers? Ah, I'm gonna fall. I'm fine. I'm fine. Stop panicking. I'm fine, guys. Okay. We can go between these 2.
I have 2 options here. So we have, here's our Game Changer, and we have Check Please, which is hockey. And there's a hockey stick on here, and there's hockey on here. And this is a graphic novel. He also has a pie on it. Option 1. Option 2 is the brightly covered, very similar illustration style, also queer, and that is Paris Dalencourt is About to Crumble. So same art style overall. I'm going to let you vote down below which one I'm doing. You vote. We're going to use Paris Dalencourt for this one just because that's a graphic novel and this one needs more words on the cover. So we're going to flip to a random page and a random word on the page, find that in a title, and that's our final one. Why is that the first word? It doesn't have to be the first word. Let's see. Until? Let's go with Until. I'm sure I have a few books with Until on the cover.
I'm pretty sure, if I can find them. I'm pretty sure I have at least 2 Until the something, you know. I have books like that. Where are you at is the question, though.
Until the World Falls Down, which is a Labyrinth remix, essentially, by Jordan Lindy. This is pitched as like, yeah, what if Sarah and Jareth got together? Which, you know what? My childhood heart loved Labyrinth so much. I know there's some controversy there, but they're not. It's the characters, okay? What this is about: when a brutal betrayal leaves Nell heartbroken and alone, she makes a desperate wish for love, recklessly offering anything in exchange. Her plea is heard by Enver, an immortal as wicked as he is beautiful. He sweeps Nell away to his castle that seems to exist out of time and presents her with a bargain: escape his labyrinth within 48 hours or surrender to eternity as his lover. Nell vows to conquer the labyrinth, despite the dangerous attraction she feels for its monstrous ruler. But every stolen moment with him leaves her craving more, and every step deeper into the castle reveals hidden truths about herself and the curse that holds Enver captive. Torn between her desire for love and the dark being incapable of loving her, Nell faces an impossible choice, and her time is running out. So I see where we've blended the Beauty and the Beast and Labyrinth in this. Okay. But it's still the world falls down, it's falling in love. We do have to add another one. I've written these down from a different person's scavenger hunt. I believe it's Haley in Bookland that did this. So I'm going to roll a die. Of course I'm going to roll a die. Who am I if not a dice roller? Where are my dice? I have a 17-sided die. This one I literally held. This is a 17-sided die. If I roll a 17, I don't know, something bad happens. 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. A book with illustrations in it. Do I just do Check and Mate and then just do both of those? Because it's a graphic novel and so there's illustrations? Because it's illustrated? Do I just do that? Or do I do something that has, like, where did you go? You. Pretty sure, yeah. So I think probably it means more like this. This is The Assassination of Brangwain Spurge, which has full illustrations within. I think I'll go with this because it has also been on my TBR forever. So we'll go with that. Here's what The Assassination of Brangwain Spurge is about. Agent Brangwain Spurge, elfin emissary and historian, spy. Mission: to infiltrate the Goblin Kingdom and spy on its evil government. Primary objective: send visual transmissions back to Lord Cliver's elfin spy master. Secondary objective: return from the Goblin Kingdom alive. Agent Werfel, the Goblin Ambassador and Archivist, excellent host. Mission: to show his honored elfin guest a splendid time. Objective: inform on his elfin guests to the Goblin Secret Police. Agent Lord Cliver's elfin spy master. Mission: launch a spy into the Goblin Kingdom via giant crossbow. Objective: protect Elfland at any cost. Fun. I know this is I think this is a middle grade book, but it's a chunky one, that's for sure. But I think it's because there are so many illustrations in it. So I'll say with that, you guys vote on if I do Paris Dalencourt or Check Please for this very long TBR that I am now likely going to fail. But that's it. That's it. All dunzos. All right, that is it. That is the TBR for July, our start of HRCYED 3.0. Hopefully Editing Q put all of those lists of what every book that I'm going to read counts for HRCYED 3.0. So if you need them, you can read them too. Okay, I'm going to go now. Bye! In my Easter egg, and just navigate. You're going to poop all over me, aren't you? Ma'am. Okay. All right. Go poop on the desk. Whoa, 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 whoa! Ma'am, where are you going? Girl, hey, 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 hey. You just skittered all over. You're going back in. You're going back in. Crazy girl. So we're going to flip to a random page and just drop the book, obviously. Let me use oh fuck me. There we go.